teenage boys. And this is a woman getting up and singing this, pumping it into our kids' mind every single night when they're listening to that top 40. And then we can't figure out why our generation has no respect for women. Because we told them not to. I can't read it. I can't read it. I wish I could, just for the sake of you understand what I'm saying. Let me just say this. The last 3 lines, again, I can't read it. But all of my, and then the next word, let me just put it this way to save little ears. All my, and then the next word, Brother John, Kyle Larson can't race tonight in NASCAR because he said that word during a video game session with a bunch of his buddies, and they heard him say it, so they've kicked him out of NASCAR for it. It starts with an N, and you all know the rest. But that's what, all my, and it's in the song. And she's white, and she's singing it. But if our kids say it, we're ready to riot in the streets and burn down buildings. And it ain't right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not for it. I'm against it, and they got no business in your mouth. But top 40 pumps it into there. I wonder how many songs, Brother John, in that top 40 use that word. I wonder if I went in the top 40 tonight, Tyler, and went through every single one, I wonder how many of them use that word. I guarantee that's not the only one. It's not the only one. We're pumping these things into the minds of our children in our music. They're listening to it. And then we're surprised when they turn out to be boastful, proud, and blasphemers. Hello? Oh, ain't nothing wrong with country music. I work at WCO, and there's a lot wrong with country music. Ain't nothing wrong with country music. We're from Tennessee. Look here. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm not trying to be mean. My wife, how you know them pork loin sweet potatoes I talked about Sunday, came to fruition this evening. Amen. Happened today. And it was good. Just as good as I expected it to be. But we got a dog out in the backyard. And if my wife went up the dog lot, shoveled the dog lot, and threw it in what she shoveled into the pork and sweet potatoes, and then looked at me and said, there's still some good in there. You just got to dig around and find it. It's still worth eating. Do you know how much of it I'd eat? 0. But that's our justification for the music we listen to. It's not all bad. I mean, you can listen to some of it. Do you turn the station when it's not good? Doubt it. And there ain't a lot of it that's good. I mean, I'm not a holy roller, okay? I'm not super spiritual or anything. We get guitars and sit around the house and we'll play music, and we play a little Johnny Cash every now and then, some of them old songs. Listen, don't look at the preacher super spiritual and thinks he's better than everybody. No. But if I could have a beer with Jesus, it's blasphemy. It's stink in the nostrils of God. This is my church. A whole song contributing to country artists. Man, I was never so mad in my life. They play that song on the radio station a lot, that My Church song. And I can't remember the words. If I could look it up, I'd tell you the words. But it's attributing all them old artists. One of them's the preacher and one of them's the singer. And anyhow, Marion Morris sings it, I think. You can look up the words later. There's nothing really bad. It's just 110% sacrilegious. And so, anyhow, a local pastor's wife, they're not Baptist. I know that pretty much, that narrows it way down, but they're not Baptist. But a local pastor's wife sent an email to the radio station. Well, she's fired up, Brother Michael. Y'all been playing that song by Marion Morris about my church. I'm a Christian. I don't appreciate that. And if you don't take that off the air, I'm going to quit listening to one of them. I thought, God help us. How hypocritical can you be? You ain't got a problem with having to be with Jesus. You ain't got a problem with, every other song, smoking and drinking and prostitutes. You ain't got no problem with that, but because Hank led the choir down at the church, all of a sudden you've got spiritual. We've lost our minds. There's another quote in there that I believe applies to about 95% of our churches, and it says they have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. We got a form of godliness, but we ain't got no power. We're going to church, but if I can say it like this without sounding mean, I'm on Facebook tonight, and that's all right. They can send me hate mail or whatever. If I can say this without sounding mean, we're going to church, but it ain't doing us no good. Got a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. It amazes me the hills we're willing to die on. I've heard preachers, Brother Mark, get in pulpits and make statements like this. You ought not listen to country music. I had a preacher one time tell me he could tell what kind of Christian I was by what my radio presets were in the car. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I don't know that I disagree with it either. But nonetheless, he would. But here's where we're going to have to figure out what well we're drinking out of. He'd get up in the pulpit, Brother David, and he would just blast country music. Hated it. And he had a reason for hating it. And I don't blame him for hating it. But he hated it. And then 2 breaths later, after he told us we shouldn't be listening to country music because they were smoking and drinking and prostitutes and same things I just said, then he'd get off on our TVs and tell us we needed to watch good shows like Bonanza. Hello? Does anyone know the whole plot of Bonanza? Or not Bonanza, I'm sorry, Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke. Does anyone know the whole plot of Gunsmoke? Hello? I'm talking about 2 minutes. After we've been crucified for listening to country music, we ought to watch wholesome TV like Gunsmoke. And listen, I'm not going home. I'm not telling you to go home tonight and throw away everything you like to do and not have any fun. It's not what I mean. But I am saying tonight, there's a reason why sometimes we're very so carnally minded. It's hard to be spiritual minded when you live in a carnal realm all the time. I got TV shows that I like. Listen, I know, I've literally have seen churches that had Bible studies about the Andy Griffith Show. The Andy Griffith Show has never done anything for me spiritually, but I love it. I can quote it word for word. I've seen every episode 27 times. Love it. But it ain't, there's never been a time that Andy and Barney have helped my spiritual being. And your TV shows and things like that is forms of entertainment. But listen, and I know you can argue with me. And I just said the same thing. Well, preacher, that music's just a form of entertainment. Do this. Just do this for me. Take your kids and set them in front of a TV screen, and you watch an episode of the Andy Griffith Show, or you watch an episode of whatever show that you like, and see if it changes anything about them. See if it changes their mood. See if it makes it now. You put my daughter in front of certain Disney shows and certain songs come on. But what is it? It's the music. It's the music. She's not affected by anything else. But when Elsa starts singing Let It Go, man, we're floating around the room. Why? Because the music affects us. It affects us. And listen, friend. The devil's running hell in our ears. I had 2 preachers this week. Social media. I'm quitting. You better watch their social media accounts. Had 2 preachers this week, and it happened to me. And 2 preachers posted. It happened to me. I had a ad pop up on my Facebook feed this week. Some provocative looking picture of some woman, and it was advertising some dating site. I don't remember what the name of the site was. Well, I've clicked to block the ad, but when you click the block, you can ask, why did you see this? And I want to know why I saw it. Here was the only reason I saw that ad. They tell you, they list the reasons why. If it's something you've Googled, if it's something that you've, the other day I don't remember who I was, Brother Stacy and I was looking at maybe trying to find some hand sanitizer stations for when you walk in the church, you just hand sanitizing. And he had sent me that. I'd Googled it to look it up, and literally I had a Facebook ad for it 5 minutes later. They're watching you. But when and so you can click on there and it'll tell you why it showed you this. And here's all it said. Whatever it was, .com, I don't remember. It said it's targeting males in the United States between the ages of 17 and 35. That's it. That's the only reason, Brother Dallas, that they felt like they should throw that up on my Facebook wall. And Facebook allows them to do it. Let me say something, Mom, Dad, hell wants your babies, and they're going to get them however they can. And the easiest way for the devil to get them is to pump it in them AirPods and them earphones. And you can't hear it. You don't see it. But the devil's taking control of their mind. The devil's taking control. They took Elmer Fudd's guns away this week. But yet, my 7-year-old nephew, how old's 9? My 9-year-old nephew can unhindered sit in front of a screen on his Xbox and shoot and blood and gore and filth and violence. I'm not saying his mama lets him do that. I'm just saying he can if he wants. And there's plenty of them that are. And they're sitting there, and they got their little Xbox controllers, and we listen, you better watch. Connected to the internet. Biggest mistake ever made in my life. I told Micah the passcode to my phone. I have to change it now because he's on there all the time. He'll catch me not looking, he'll grab it, and he knows the passcode now. Put it in. He's doing stuff. I do have Touch ID. He can't spend money without my fingerprint. The other day he come to me, he was on a game on my phone, and he knows, he's 4 years old, Tyler, and he come to me the other day, and he was playing Monster Jam on my phone, and he wanted to buy a new racetrack, and he handed me my iPad, and he said, "Here, Daddy, pay for this." I said, no. Amen. But when you take that little cable and you plug it into the back of that box, you might as well just take hell and plug it in. If you're going to walk out of the room and you're going to allow them unbridled access to that little box connected to that cable, you might as well just holler and say, "Hey, devil, come here." Just come on in. If you're going to hand them this at 11 years old, 12 years old, and give them unbridled access to the internet, you might as well just say, "Hey, devil, come here." Just might as well invite hell in, because hell's coming, whether you want it to or not. We're going to have a hard enough time shielding them, trying to keep them off the end. You can't, listen, if by Bible standards, I can't drive my kids down through the middle of Knoxville and let them look at billboards. We're going to have enough time, we have a hard enough time keeping hell off of them without the internet. But when we plug them into hell and just hand it to them, we shouldn't be surprised when they turn into proud, arrogant, boastful blasphemers. And that's what we've got in this day. That's what we've got in this day. One man said this when the World Wide Web came into existence in the late 80s, early 90s, whenever it was. He said this. He said, "The internet was the only thing man ever created that he did not understand, and he does not know how to control." We're now reaping the effects of a generation who has had unbridled access to the internet. And that generation is killing thousands of babies a day while marching through the streets advocating for life. Don't make any sense. That generation is protesting hate by burning down buildings and stealing things out of stores and openly declaring their hate for one man that sits behind a desk. And that's how Barney Fife looked at them whenever they were selling that miracle salve, and he said, "You boys know how you fight fire?" Trey had it right. He said, "With a hose." But we got a generation that all they will know how to do is fight fire with fire. Won't never work. If I try to fight your fire with my fire, we both lose. Won't work. Better get a hose. But this generation's had unbridled access to the internet. Their minds. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and the rulers of the darkness of this world. Well, where is that, preacher? Right here. If the devil can ever get control of this, he's got him. Because if he gets this, he's got this. He's got this. He's got these. If he can get this. Images, music. Just pump it in, 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 pump it in. Teenager, you hear me and hear me well. I'm done tonight. I'm finished. If you're a teenager sitting in this room tonight and you've got a cell phone, I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to be 110% honest with yourself. You ain't got to tell me. You'd lie to me anyway. But would you be okay if I grabbed your phone right now, unlocked it, and had unbridled access to everything on it for the next hour? You'd be okay? You okay with that? Yeah, I'm fine. Of course you are. Because you got smart now, you know how to delete things. Would you be okay if somehow I could look at a screen recording of your cell phone for the last 24 hours and just watch it? Everything that's been said, everything that's been looked at, everything's been searched, every Snapchat picture received or sent. Is that okay? Ain't none of you seem to think, ain't none of, where's all the super spiritual teenagers? Yes, sir, preacher, here you go. Look up here, teenager. The reality of the matter is, a lot of the adults sitting in the room are glad I'm asking you. Unbridled access to hell, if you want it. And he'll turn you into a self-loving, coveting, proud, boastful blasphemer if you let it. It's a good tool. It can be used for good things. But listen to me, teenager, that little thing that's sitting in your purse or in your pocket or out in the car can ruin your life. Ruin it. Sir, ma'am, it can ruin your marriage, your home, your testimony. Ruin it. Well, how much? Now we couldn't. Now we'd lose our minds. But I wonder how much better our services would be someday if we left all these here sitting on the altar when we left tonight. Just went home from Wednesday night to Sunday morning and just left them here.
and said the time that I was going to spend on Facebook and surfing the internet and everything else, I'm going to spend reading my Bible and praying. I'm not against surfing the internet, playing a game, whatever. But I wonder how much better our service would be Sunday, Brother Mike, if we just left him here for 3 or 4 days. Oh, I know, we couldn't make it. 3 days without a cell phone would just be terror. Brother David, how old were you when you got a cell phone? You guessing, just roughly?
Probably 15 years.
15 years ago. So how old were you then? How old are you now?
I'm 73.
73. So 15 years ago would have been 58. Is that right? No. Yeah, 58. We couldn't make it. Most of you teenagers wouldn't survive 58 minutes. And he made it 58 years. And look, he's here tonight. He's fine. He's breathing. Everything. He's good. And ain't broke out in hives or nothing. And made it 58 years and never had one. I know it's a new generation. I know it's a new world. I know our life revolves around him. But the reason for that is because we've allowed that to happen. We're slave to him. Nervous wreck when we don't have him. Let him go dead. Plug them in. I mean, that's just 5 minutes of just pure torture. Come on. I hate this thing. When I was your age, Noah, to get on the internet, it took 26 minutes. Boom, boom, beep, beep, boom. But now, if we got to wait on our phone to come on for 2 minutes, we're about to have a psychiatric breakdown. But we ain't picked up our Bibles in 3 weeks, hadn't prayed in a month and a half, and then we can't figure out where God's went. And why our world's in such a spiritual mess. We can't. We're just so we're so confused by that, and just can't figure it out. I believe it's proof that we're living in perilous times. Lord, we love you. Thank you for the opportunity to come tonight. Thank you for the opportunity just to study and read your word. Lord, I pray that you'd help us as we live in these perilous times. Lord, to seek you, to search for you, to serve you. Lord, I pray, God, that we would be Bible readers like we've never been, prayer warriors like we've never been. Lord, I understand that I'm so guilty of so many things that you've laid on our heart to preach about tonight. Lord, I come today preaching as a dying man to dying men. And Lord, I'm convicted about many of these same things. Lord, things that we've allowed to rule our day and rule our life really aren't that important. I pray, God, Lord, that if revival's not coming to America, if revival's not coming to Tennessee, if revival's not coming to Morgan County, Lord, I let it come here. Let it come to this church. Let it come to my home. Let it come to my life. Please, Lord, grant this request. Help our church family. We love you. Thank you for loving us. Help us now. Keep us safe as we journey home. Give you all the thanks, honor, and glory for everything you do in Jesus' name. Amen. Let me remind you about 2 things real quick before we leave. Next Thursday night will be our meeting with Brother Grab. We won't have Wednesday night service. On Sunday morning, Lord willing, following Sunday school about 10:45, we're going to have a meeting with everybody about Sunday school. So if you can be here Sunday morning for Sunday school, please be here. And then teachers, if you'll prepare to be done by about 10:45, I need to have a meeting about Sunday school. Also, we're going to have to start looking at if we're going to have to rent vans. We're going to have to start looking at how many hotel rooms we're going to have, and we're going to have to start ordering tickets for the trip. So July the 11th and the 12th, we'll leave on Saturday morning around 8 or 8:30, and we'll go drive up to the Ark. We'll eat on the way up. We're going to get tickets at the Ark that are good for a meal at the Ark. They're trying to social distance and spread out the day. So if you get a ticket so you don't come in until after 1 o'clock, then you also get a meal. Same price for the ticket. So we'll do that because it'll be 1 o'clock before we get there. So we're going to go up. We'll eat at the Ark Encounter. We'll leave there. If we need to grab something, depending on what time we eat, if we need to grab something before we get there or after we leave, we will. We'll drive about 2.5 more hours, about 2 hours actually, I think it is, up to New Albany, Ohio. We'll spend the night there. That's where our hotel will be. We'll be about 15 minutes from the church. We'll spend the night there and then plan to be at Life Signs Deaf Baptist Church with Brother Scott Crabtree that morning. We'll eat lunch with them as soon as church is over, and then we'll head back. It is my goal, as much as possible, with maybe the exception of a meal or so, to pay for everything. You're not going to have to. It's not going to cost you anything. I'd like.
I got up this morning and I started my day, God's mercy was with me all of the way. His goodness stayed close by to meet all my needs. My Lord is taking good care of me. I'm never forsaken, I'm never alone. One day I'm a-moving to my brand new home. I'm blessed beyond measure, just look close, you'll see. My Lord is taking good care of me. I'm counting my blessings as I journey along. Good friends, a family, and a place to call home. The church where I worship, the Bible I read. My Lord is taking good care of me. When Satan comes tempting and he brings up my past, I tell him I'm forgiven and it's buried at last. The bloodshed on Calvary now speaks for me. My Lord is taking good care of me. I'm never forsaken, I'm never alone. One day I'm a-moving to my brand new home. I'm blessed beyond measure, just look close, you'll see. My Lord is taking good care of me. I'm never forsaken, I'm never alone. One day I'm a-moving to my brand new home. I'm blessed beyond measure, just look close, you'll see. My Lord is taking good care of me. I'm blessed beyond measure, just look close, you'll see. My Lord is taking, He's always taking. My Lord is taking good care of me.